All right, folks. So I really only want to film the intro part once, so I'm going to use some placeholders for the hosting service names. So today we're going to walk through hosting your site on, and this method has a difficulty rating of, so this is one of the 3 hosting solutions that I describe on the public library documentation. I only chose 3 because it takes a lot of time to lay out all the documentation, but I think these options should give you enough choice when trying to decide between complexity and cost, and hopefully watching any of these videos should kind of illuminate how other platforms work as well. I'm going to walk through this process step by step and also use the public library documentation as a guide so you know how to navigate it later. I'll also do a brief explanation of what web hosting is in case you're unfamiliar with the topic. So hopefully by the end of this, you have a really clear image of how this all works. So without further ado, let's get started and understand what web hosting is. I'm going to talk about it for just a little bit so we have a really solid foundation to work off of. So here's a very basic diagram that shows how web hosting works. I've broken it into these 4 pieces and I'm going to explain each piece one by one. So first things first is our website. So it's very important to understand that websites are made of files. It's just a collection of files. And if you recall in our example, when we built our website, when we ran the faircamp build command, it spit out this folder that is filled with these files. So this probably looks familiar if you've ever clicked on the inspect element button on your web browser. But this, alongside of all these other things, basically tell the website how to look and what to do. You can dig into it if you like, but you don't necessarily need to understand it in order to host it. So we take our files and then we store them somewhere. Our storage can be anything. Without explicitly describing what it is, you can just imagine it as a bucket that you place your files into, and they are available publicly online. It's very similar to how when you upload something to Google Drive, you can point a link to it and people can access it. Websites are very similar to this. However, because it's not Google Drive, we actually have to customize it a little bit further. So we have this part, which is the quote-unquote server. When someone types an address into their search bar, there needs to be a translator in the middle that basically informs the web browser where to look for the files. This description is very abstract, but as we walk through the hosting solution, it will begin to make more sense how these pieces all work together. All right, so in this tutorial, we're going to go over the BunnyCDN option. So if you go to the public library documentation at docs.whereditgo.diamonds, you can go to the hosting section and click on BunnyCDN, and you'll see the steps right here. So first things first is you want to make an account on BunnyCDN. So you can click the link here and go to the website and click log in or sign up. I'm already signed in, so it'll show me the dashboard right away. So the next thing you want to do is set up your storage. So if you recall on our diagram here, we're now on this second item, which is where do we store our website contents. In BunnyCDN, all you have to do is click on the storage tab on the left here. Click create your first storage zone and call it something that you'll remember. So in my case, I'm going to say incognito thief faircamp site. I'll click the standard storage tier. The main storage region will be New York because we're on the East Coast. You can actually deselect this geo-replication. Basically what this will do is it will host your website in duplicate places around the world. This will make traffic easier for people who are located in other places around the planet, but it's not necessary, especially if you have a lower traffic website. So for now, I'm just going to leave mine on New York, and I will click Add Storage Zone. So now, as you can see here, we have an empty storage bucket. So we've set up our storage, and now we will upload our FairCamp site. So if you recall in our example, when we ran the FairCamp command to build our website, it spit out these files here. And if you recall in our diagram, we mentioned that our website is made of files. So we're going to upload these files to our storage location. I'll just pull up the window where my files are at. You can get to this by right-clicking on the folder wherever you built it, whether it's the FairCamp build folder or if you named a specific folder. Open it in your file explorer, and then you'll just want to click and drag all of the contents in. So you notice that I did all the individual files first, and then I'll do the folder. Oops, right. Okay, so you can't drag and drop folders. That's why I did that. So you'll have to click the upload folder button. And in our FairCamp build folder, we'll grab the leftover folder, click upload, and this will upload our project, and it'll be available here. So once we've stored our files, we can move up to the next step. So we're gonna add a pull zone. So this pull zone is it will act as our quote unquote server. It's the translator that will basically allow web browsers to go and find our files. So we're going to go on the left tab here to CDN. This is our pull zone. And we'll click create your first pull zone. So I'm going to name it incognito thief FairCamp sites. All right. Whatever you name this pull zone, it will appear as the web address. So if you want to name it something custom, just make sure that you name it appropriately here. For the origin type, I'm going to click storage zone. And then for the storage zone, I'm going to click the storage zone that we created in the last step, which is the incognito thief FairCamp site. I'll choose standard tier. And I'm also going to reduce the pricing zones. So this again, basically will route all the traffic to North America. Again, not necessary to have it all around the world. It'll cost a little bit more. But if you want your traffic to be faster, you can select this. But for this tutorial, I'm just going to keep it on North America. And I will add the pull zone. I'm also going to click this switch here, which is force SSL. And perfect. So that's pretty much all there is to it. Now I can click this link up here at the top, and it'll take me to my website. Notice that the name that we assigned to our pull zone is here, and the address. And this is our live site that we built in the previous tutorial. You can send this link to anybody. They can come to your site, listen to your music, download it if you've configured that. And yeah, there you have it, your self-hosted music library. So an extra tip, if you make changes to your site, like let's say you come here and you change something, like you add a new project or you change something in the appearance, and then you run the FairCamp command again to build it, and you want to update your site, all you have to do is go to your storage, delete all the items here, click delete, re-upload your items, and then the very important step, go to your CDN, click on the CDN, and you click this button here that says purge cache. When you do this, this will basically tell your website translator or server to update the contents that it's sharing with the public. So whatever you just uploaded, when you purge the cache, these will now be made freshly available to whoever comes to your website. Otherwise, if you don't do this and you go and make a change, you basically won't see the changes live right away, or it might take some time to show up, but this forces it to happen instantly. So yeah, that's all there is to it for hosting your website on BunnyCDN. Hopefully this was fairly simple to follow along with. Of course, if you have any questions, hit the support email below and I'll get back to you with whatever inquiries you have. And yeah, stay tuned for future updates.